Hello, everyone. I'm Layla, and this will be an essay channel of sorts. I will discuss a few topics ranging from Ruby Franke, QAnon, Logan Paul, Andrew Tate, everything in between. Um, this is mainly to get extra points from sociology in my class, but also as I like these topics and I try to expand my knowledge on them. I also like to expand knowledge of others using this channel. So, I will be talking about Ruby Franke, who she is, what happened, could the stuff that happened this year been prevented, and everything in between. So Ruby Franke is a vlogger, she is a YouTuber, and she has a channel, had a channel by the name of 8 Passengers, meaning it was her husband, and their 6 kids. Now, this channel started in 2012, so they have been on the internet for a long time, which isn't the greatest because they're kids, as I mentioned. The channel is focused on their kids, so it isn't the best to have a channel while having such young kids, because their kids were ranging from 6 to 8 years old at the beginning of their channel. So in August of this year, August 30th to be exact, their 12-year-old son climbed through the window and went to the neighbor and asked for some food and some water because he was starving. The neighbor noticed that there were the kid looked abused, malnourished. There were duct tape marks around his wrists and ankles, so he called the police and gave him some food. The police came and subsequently arrested Miss Franke, and the kids went to the hospital. They also searched the house and saw that there was another daughter who also looked malnourished. Now, what is very infuriating about this, as I said, is that all of this started in 2012, and throughout the last 10 years, the police were in the house at least 15 times. There was at least 15 visits of police to the Ruby Franke house, and they didn't do anything about the kids, and even though they saw that the kids were malnourished and abused. Some of the things that Frankie did is send the oldest of her sons to a reform camp of sorts, because he pranked his younger brother. They took away his bed because the reform camp did the same. According to Ruby, she said that the first thing that was done when her son went to the reform camp was that they took away his bed and he slept on the hard floor. Another thing was that they took away the door of a bathroom where the kids would go to the bathroom. Her youngest daughter one time went to school without lunch. She was 6. The teacher called home, and Ruby said, "Well, it's her responsibility, so I don't you dare give her some food because she didn't pack it, and that was her responsibility." So she basically threatened the teacher to not give any food to her daughter because her 6-year-old daughter forgot to pack any lunch for herself. Kids were also constantly on camera. Was it even if they are happy, sad, annoyed, they were constantly on camera. Ruby would bring a camera everywhere, which is very bad for kids' development. Her oldest daughter, she went to college, and in college she noticed that she would judge other people based on their religion. That's another part of Ruby Franke. She basically indoctrinated her kids into being hardcore Mormons, and their house was basically a cult. They couldn't do anything. If they did anything, they had to repent, and if they didn't repent enough, they wouldn't get food, they wouldn't get a bed, and so on and so on. So the daughter noticed that whenever she went home and then went back to college, she would see that she became even more indoctrinated, and she would have to say so straighten her beliefs because her beliefs were so extreme. In the end, the family kind of fell apart. Kids started to seek more independence. The older son went with his father, and they went away. The daughter went to college, and so on. It was, to say so, a messy breakup. Um, the mother started a channel called Moms of Truth, Moms of Truth. Her and another woman started that podcast, and they talked about how to raise your kids in a way that would be, I guess, appropriate, saying that you should be very involved, that you should watch what you give your kids, how much you give them, how much freedom they have, and everything else, saying that you should be extremely involved in what your kids watch, how they pray, and everything that they do. So the kids were taken away from her. She right now she's facing jail time for the malnourishment of her kids and abuse of her kids. The kids will be staying with their father, which I do not agree with because he was extremely involved into everything that she was doing to her kids, but to each their own. But yeah, the situation is getting it's there's progress. She's facing jail time, kids are going with their other parent, but I do not agree that they should go with their parent, as he was extremely involved in everything. There are some older kids that can go live on their own, but it's a touchy subject, because what about the other four younger kids who cannot go anywhere and they have to stay with their dad? But yeah, that's the Ruby Frankie situation in short. It's not extremely well explained, but I mentioned some of the most important parts of the situation. And yeah, if you don't agree with me, don't attack me, but you can leave some comments. And yeah, that will be all for that. See ya.